sentence you to life in confinement without parole.
That's f***ing horse shit. You do whatever the f*** you want.
Why are they shutting my mic off?
I'm the federal witness of the United States federal government. I demand some goddamn respect, you. All I did was trespass on property.
Ma'am, you gotta create the community that you want to live in.
Bond court is a free service, but it takes several hours of my time every day. Less than 10% of Bond court viewers hit the like button, and less than 1% leave a comment. If you want Bond court to continue to be available on YouTube for free, then please hit the like button and leave a comment on all of my videos.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Good morning, this is Judge Kranick. We're here on Saturday, May the 21st for initial appearances. Let me get appearances for the record for the state attorney's office, please.
Evan Schmidt for the state.
And for the public defender's office in Osceola County.
Azalea Romero Sanchez.
All right, Ms. Sanchez, good afternoon or good morning. I think it's still morning. I'm not sure. I apologize for that. All right, we're going to start with case number 2021-CF-1279, Jimmy Andreal.
Judge, if we may, we have one that's detoxing really bad and they want him to be addressed first.
Who is that, ma'am?
It's going to be Clifford Beasley. He's on the reset.
Let me find him. Give me a moment. Yep, I have him. Case number 2022-CF-1453. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Clifford Beasley.
All right, Mr. Beasley, we're here on a charging affidavit for a sole charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Court has reviewed that affidavit, finds that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir, in that action. You are subject to pretrial release. I'm going to grant you pretrial release with a bond of $1,000, and you are to have no contact with the victims in this case, sir.
Judge, at this time, the defendant doesn't qualify for pretrial release due to mental health conditions. I know your paper says pretrial release, but after further assessing the defendant, he does not qualify.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that clarification. The court's going to revoke its oral ruling as to pretrial release and increase the bond to $1,500, and still no contact with any of the victims in this case. Any other, ma'am, that we need to take out of turn?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. Jimmy Andreal, case number 21-CF-1279.
And Judge, for the record, he's indicated he's hired a private.
Okay, thank you. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Jimmy Andreal.
All right, Mr. Andreal, we're here on a charging affidavit for 2 counts for failure to appear on a written promise. There was a capias issued for you, sir, so I am going to find probable cause for your failure to appear. My understanding is that you have obtained or will be obtaining private counsel.
Yes, sir.
All right, so at this point in time, sir, I'm not going to appoint the public defender to represent you, but to the extent you are not able to retain private counsel, you can always come back to seek the services of the public defender's office. I'm going to stay the bond at 0 for both of those failures to appear.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. Samantha Burgos. Ma'am, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Samantha Burgos.
All right, Ms. Burgos, we're here on a charging affidavit on a sole count of battery. The court has reviewed that charging affidavit, is going to find probable cause for that charge. Court's going to give you a bond of $1,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim in this case. You're to maintain separate residences. You're not to return to the address located at 1806 Nebraska Avenue and you will be permitted a one-time return with law enforcement to pick up any of your personal effects, ma'am. All right, thank you.
Qualify for pretrial release, would you consider pretrial release supervision?
I will, sir. I will add pretrial release with a bond of $1,500. Thank you, ma'am. Jose Chaparro. Here on case number 22CT1468. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Jose Chaparro.
All right, Mr. Chaparro, we're here on a warrant for the charge of leaving the scene of an accident with property damage. Court is going to find that there is probable cause by the issuance of that warrant. You are permitted to have pretrial release. The court is going to directly release you with pretrial release in accordance with the admin order.
I'm sorry, Judge. Mr. Chaparro also does not qualify for pretrial release after assessing the defendant due to mental health concerns.
Okay, thank you, sir. Court's going to revoke its oral statement that Mr. Chaparro will be subject to direct pretrial release, and a bond in the amount of $1,000 will be instituted. Thank you, sir.
Judge, is Ms. Burgos and Mr. Chaparro appointed?
Yes, to the extent I have not appointed the public defender for both Ms. Burgos and Mr. Chaparro, I will do so. I'm sorry, ma'am. Felicia Fraser. Ma'am, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Felicia Fraser.
All right, Ms. Fraser, we're here on a uniform charging affidavit for a sole charge of battery. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You do qualify for pretrial release with a bond, so you will have pretrial release with a $1,000 bond. You're not to have any contact with the victim in this case. You're to maintain separate residences. You'll be permitted a one-time return to the address at 8290 Matisse Street, apartment 3507 in Kissimmee, with law enforcement to pick up any of your personal effects. Thank you, ma'am.
Judge, is the PD appointed?
Yes, ma'am, I appointed you. Ronnie Hinton. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Ronnie Hinton.
All right, Mr. Hinton, we're here on two different matters. The first is based on a uniform charging affidavit with 3 charges: aggravated assault with the intent to commit a felony, aggravated stalking, and false imprisonment. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for each of those 3 counts. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. I'm going to give you a bond, sir, as follows: is to count 1, $3,000, count 2, $3,500, count 3, $3,000, and you are not to return to the address of 720 Virginia Avenue, apartment B, and you're going to have no contact with the victim in this case.
Judge, may
Sir,
I?
as to, yes, ma'am.
Defense feels that I have 2 probable cause arguments in regards to aggravated stalking. Looking at the statute, it explained that aggravated stalking is a person who willfully, maliciously, and repeatedly follow or harass a person and makes a credible threat. Looking at the affidavit, I don't see any facts that entails that there was a repeated follow or harass over the alleged victim in this case, so I don't feel that it rises to a level of probable cause in regards to aggravated stalking. And in regards to aggravated assault, the only thing I see is a neighbor who heard my client threaten to kill the alleged victim in this case, but there's no indication that the defendant had the ability to carry on with the threat. So defense feels that it doesn't rise to a level of probable cause as to aggravated assault.
Mr. Schmidt?
Your Honor, the state feels that probable cause has been met. It's very low standard. The witness did testify that they heard Hinton threaten to kill the victim and repeatedly asked the victim to leave, but refused, and then the defendant refused to let her leave. So the state believes that probable cause has been met for all 3 charges.
What about the aggravated stalking?
Based on the arrest affidavit, the state believes that since the victim asked the defendant asked the victim asked the defendant over several times, but he refused, that rises to probable cause for that charge.
Madam Public Defender, that coupled with the active warrant for an already stalking charge with the same witness, same victim.
Judge, I do understand in regards to his prior case, but looking at this case, I don't feel that it rises to the level because it has to be a repeated.
But it's the same victim for which the warrant was executed for in case number 22CF1208, which is the second case we're going to be dealing with Mr. Hinton.
Yes, Your Honor, I don't have the warrant in my hand. I didn't get that warrant, so.
Court's going to overrule your objection or your statement as to no probable cause on those two counts. The bond findings and determinations will remain as stated previously. Mr. Hinton, we're also here on your second matter, case number 22CF1208, where a warrant was issued for your arrest for three charges: a burglary with assault or battery, and stalking. As a result of the issuance of that warrant, court's going to find that there is probable cause. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You will be given a bond as follows: $5,000 is to count one, $2,500 is to count two, $2,500 is to count two, $1,500 is to count three. You're to have no contact with the victim in this case, not to return to the address of 720 Virginia Avenue, Unit B.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Winston Humney?
Judge, he's indicated that he's going to hire a private.
Okay, thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record for me, please?
Winston Humney.
All right, Mr. Humney, we're here on a uniform charging affidavit on a sole count of battery. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. Counsel's indicated that you intend to hire a private attorney. Is that correct, sir?
I'm not sure what to do.
Okay, well, I'm unfortunately unable to give you legal advice. So, sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender at this time. And to the extent that you want to hire independent or private counsel, you can do that, okay?
I just need to make a phone call to my attorney, and I can find out what to do. I called the cops.
Please don't talk about the case.
All right, I don't want you to say anything more than that, sir, because I don't want you to say anything that may incriminate or hurt your case. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender. You can always hire private counsel and substitute them out. I'm going to set a bond in this matter, sir, at $2,000. You're to have no contact with the victim in this case and maintain separate residences.
I was just blocking myself,
Judge.
Sir, I don't want you to say anything that could hurt you. Yes, ma'am.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Judge, would you like to add pretrial release supervision to this case?
Yes, sir, I will. All right, thank you, sir. Pineda Jacobs? Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Pineda Jacobs.
All right, Mr. Jacobs, we're here on charging affidavit on a sole charge of engaging or communication in prostitution. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir, give you a bond of $500. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Juan Juarez?
Judge, he refused.
Madam Public Defender, do you have any problems with waiving his appearance and proceeding with the initial appearance this morning?
Your Honor, if we could just do a one-time reset, and if he doesn't come tomorrow, then we can address it then.
Okay, all right. Case number 22CF163 regarding Juan Juarez will be reset till tomorrow. John Levy?
He's in the hospital, Your Honor.
Counsel, same question. Do you want to do a waiver or reset him as well?
A waiver will be fine.
In case number 2021CT459 regarding John Levy, we'll reset this for tomorrow.
Judge, I have no problem with waiving his appearance.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misheard you, counsel. I apologize. Okay. All right, we'll proceed on that. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for failure to appear for violation of probation. Court's going to appoint the public defender to the extent the public defender is not already representing Mr. Levy, and the bond will be stayed at $0. Reynaldo Lopez?
He refused, Your Honor. If we could do a one-time reset.
All right, that'll be for both cases. I don't have case numbers for either of them, but for both of Mr. Rinaldo's cases, we'll reset them. Michael Martinez, case number 22CF905.
Your Honor, he's indicated that he wants a private counsel, and I believe there's another case number, 22CF906 as well.
I have 22CF761.
That's the case that he's out on bond, Judge.
Okay.
You had a 22CF905?
Yes.
That's the only one I have. I don't know if you can-
Hey, counsel, I don't know, could you advise that case number again, Madam Public Defender? I don't believe that I have that one.
Yes, Your Honor. This is Michael Martinez, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It's 22CF906 and 22CF905.
We only have the-
I only have the 905, counsel. I don't have the 906, but thank you for letting me know. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Michael Martinez.
All right, Mr. Martinez, we're here on a warrant for the sole charge of sale of marijuana. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. I understand that you'll be obtaining private counsel, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. At this point in time, the court will not appoint the public defender based on that statement. I'm going to give you a bond, sir, of $1,500. You're going to have no possess or consume no drugs or alcohol. As to case number 22CF760, court is going to revoke the bond in that case.
I'm sorry, Judge, could you repeat the last sentence about revoking?
In case number 22CF761, court is going to revoke the bond in that case.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Carlos Pineto.
Judge, if we can waive the reading of the charges.
I was going to ask the state if they wanted to do that. Thank you. We're here on case number 22CF1206. Sir, could you state your name for the record for me?
Carlos Pinedo.
All right, Mr. Pineda, there was a warrant for your arrest for 15 counts. Public defenders asked those counts to be waived, and they will. Court is going to find that there is probable cause for all 15 of those counts. As to counts 1 through 10, the bond will be set at 0. As to counts 11 through 15, the bond will be at $10,000 each. You to have no contact with the victim or the victim's family in this case, sir.
Is the public defender appointed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you, sir. Kevin Ramdat. Sir, good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Kevin Ramdat.
All right, Mr. Ramdat, we're here on a warrant for your failure to appear on a written promise for a violation of probation. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to the extent that they are not already representing you. The bond will be stated 0, sir.
This guy here with all the 10 counts here, you wanted to beat on him, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Christopher Richard. Sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Christopher Richard.
All right, sir. We're here on a uniform charging affidavit for a sole charge of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. You'll be granted pretrial release with a bond of $3,500, sir. You're to have no contact with the victim in this case.
Judge, if I may?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense feels it doesn't, aggravated battery doesn't rise to or this case doesn't rise to a level of probable cause. Looking at the aggravated battery statute, the arrest affidavit has to indicate whether there was great bodily harm or if there was a deadly weapon that was used. There's no indication that great bodily harm was given to the alleged victim in this case, and as well.
But was that an and or an or?
Or and. Oh, I have and, but I believe it's or.
I think it's or too.
Yes, Your Honor. Even though I was gonna go further that defense feels that an aluminum can is not considered a deadly weapon.
But it's plural, and they were full.
Judge, it says it was aluminum cans, but it doesn't state whether it was filled with liquid or they were just empty aluminum cans.
It says closed, filled aluminum cans.
Still carry on with my argument, Your Honor.
Your statement's noted, your objection's overruled, court does find probable cause.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the bond? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Bond was
3,500 plus PTR.
3,500 plus PTR. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Michelle Santiago Haskins, case number 21 CT 267. Ma'am, good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Santiago Haskins.
All right, Ms. Santiago Haskins, we're here on an arrest warrant for a violation of probation.
Your Honor, if the state could have just one moment to find this case, I apologize.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Apologies, Your Honor.
No, no worries.
State's ready.
You ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you, sir. Ma'am, we're here on a uniform charging affidavit for a warrant arrest for violation of probation. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge. We're going to appoint the public defender to represent you to the extent that they are not already doing so, and we're going to stay the bond at 0 in this case, ma'am. Marvin Castaneda.
Judge, if we could waive the reading of the charges.
Yes, ma'am. We're here on case number 2020 CF 9980 out of Orange County. Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Yes, Marvin Castaneda.
All right, sir, we're here on a warrant that was issued here in Orange County. We're going to waive the charges. Court's going to find that there is probable cause by the issuance of a warrant. The court is going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir, and the bond will be stayed at 0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Camillo Dixon?
He refused.
All right. Do you want to waive, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We're here on an out-of-county warrant from Columbia County. Court's going to find that there is probable cause based on the issuance of that out-of-county warrant. I'm going to provisionally appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Dixon in this case. There were a bond schedule that was provided as to the first count, burglary while armed. There's a bond of $20,000. As to counts 2 and 3, grand theft with a bond of $20,000 each, and count 4, grand theft from a dwelling with a bond of $10,000 for a total bond of $70,000. To the extent that that bond is not finalized within 48 hours of today, not including any weekends, if he's not picked up by Columbia County, he'll be brought back before another judge within 48 hours, not including weekends.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sean Lufkin?
He refused, Your Honor.
All right, counsel would be willing to waive his appearance so we can proceed this morning?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We're here on case number 22CF1460 regarding Mr. Lufkin. There was a warrant for his arrest for the 2 charges, burglary of a dwelling while unarmed and criminal mischief. Court's going to find that there is probable cause for both of those charges. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Lufkin. The bond will be set at $2,500 for count 1, $500 for count 2. He's to have no contact with the victim and not to return to the scene. Hector Noboa Harand.
Your Honor, he would need a Spanish interpreter.
Okay. I just gotta hit the interpreter button, right?
What, the one towards the back? It needs Spanish too, so you want to put it to the end, or you want to go?
Let's.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
There's only like 2 left that I have.
Last 2, yeah.
Okay.
Both of them in Spanish, go ahead. I thought we had 4. Oh, this one's at, I think we said plus or
Add. Interpreter. Okay, cool. Thank you.
add.
used to this setup, not that setup.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Rafael Barrera, State Certified Court Interpreter. I have been previously sworn.
All right, thanks to Mr. Barreras. We're here in case number 22MM1142. Could you ask Mr. Hector Noboa Haran to state his full name for the record, please?
Certainly, Your Honor. And my apologies, Judge. I have not been sworn today. I'm so sorry. If you can please swear me in.
Oh, I thought you said you had been. Madam Clerk's going to swear you in right now.
Yes, Your Honor. My apologies. That was my mistake.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English for English to Spanish the testimony given today?
I do, Your Honor. Caballero, ¿usted me puede dar su nombre completo, por favor, despacio en voz alta?
Mi nombre es Hector Bienvenido Noboa Herrán.
Despacito, señor. Héctor, bienvenido.
Noboa Herrán.
Gracias. Héctor, bienvenido. Noboa Arran.
All right, sir, we're here on a violation of pretrial release conditions.
Señor, nos encontramos aquí en el día de hoy por un incumplimiento de condiciones de libertad provisional.
A warrant was issued for that. Court's going to find that there is probable cause.
Se emitió una orden de arresto por esa infracción. El tribunal determina que existe motivo fundado.
Judge, if I
Court's
may.
going. Yes, ma'am.
Si me permite, su señoría.
I believe yesterday this was a reset because the state was going to look into the video that was supposed to be submitted. If you look at the supplemental report of the officer, he was actually in Georgia when the alleged victim stated that my client violated his pretrial release, and when the officer...
Just a moment, counsel.
I'm sorry.
Esto fue un aplazamiento del día de ayer, su señoría, porque la fiscalía iba a conseguir un video. Si usted revisa el informe suplemental, usted va a ver que se encontraba en Georgia cuando el oficial supuestamente incumplió las condiciones.
The officer said that he observed the video and it appeared to corroborate it with my client's statement that he was in fact in Georgia, where the alleged victim in this case stated that he was here in Florida supposedly violating his PTR.
Y el oficial de libertad provisional revisó el video y corroboró el hecho de que mi cliente se encontraba en Georgia, mientras que la presunta víctima había indicado que él se encontraba en la Florida, incumpliendo las condiciones de su libertad provisional.
Counsel for the state.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Let me hear counsel for the state's argument.
Ahora voy a escuchar por parte de la fiscalía.
Your Honor, state finds that there was probable cause since after reviewing the videotape, it did say violating the injunction, the conditions, and that state's argument, Your Honor.
I don't follow.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just need a repetition from the state. I was not able to catch that.
Your Honor, on this case, the state would need a little bit more time to review this.
Su señoría, en este caso, la fiscalía necesita tiempo adicional para revisarlo.
Madam Public Defender, I think they're entitled to one more 24-hour reset.
Your Honor,
Defensora Pública, creo que ellos tienen derecho a que se le aplace una vez más por 24 horas.
Judge, I thought it was reset yesterday because the state had needed 24 hours to check the video. I do know that the family even tried to give the state these videos, and the videos are submitted as evidence showing that he was in fact in Georgia, and the police
Su
officer...
señoría, ellos le dieron un aplazamiento hasta el día de hoy de 24 horas. Inclusive la familia de él intentó presentarle a la fiscalía los videos que muestran de hecho que él se encontraba en el estado de Georgia.
And the police officer also wrote in his supplement that these videos corroborated what the defendant was saying.
Y el agente del orden público escribió en sus informes suplementales que estos videos corroboraban lo que le estaba diciendo el acusado.
At this time, I would ask if the court would consider an ROR in this case.
Su señoría, en este momento pido si el juzgado pudiera considerar una libertad bajo palabra en este momento.
Mr. Schmidt, what additional investigation would be necessary based on the supplemental documentation provided by the investigating officer in this case?
Your Honor,
Señor Schmidt, ¿qué investigación adicional es necesario que haga la Fiscalía basado en el informe suplemental que ha presentado el investigador en este caso?
Your Honor, based off the statements of the public defender, the state would just ask for 24-hour reset just to confirm all this information.
Su señoría, basado en las declaraciones de la licenciada defensora pública, la fiscalía está pidiendo 24 horas de aplazamiento para poder confirmar toda esta información.
I'm going to agree with Madam Public Defender. The supplemental affidavit confirms that the video provided shows that he was in Georgia at the time of the purported violation of the domestic violence injunction.
Yo voy a estar de acuerdo con la licenciada defensora pública que el affidavit suplementar confirma, el video confirma que él se encontraba en Georgia cuando supuestamente él estaba incumpliendo las condiciones de la libertad provisional y la orden de protección.
The court's going to release Mr. Noboa Harand on his own recognizance.
El juzgado va a liberar al señor Noboa Harand bajo palabra.
And find that there is no probable cause.
Y determinamos que no existe motivo fundado.
The only condition is going to be that he complies with the domestic violence injunction as identified in case number 22MM1061.
Eso, señoría, las únicas condiciones que le vamos a imponer es que tenga que cumplir. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I can only interpret for one person at a time.
I'm sorry, I was talking to the judge. I'm sorry.
Lo único que le pedimos es que tenga que cumplir con las condiciones de la orden de alejamiento en el caso 22-1061.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias, su señoría.
As to case number 22MM1061, the court's not going to take any action.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you very much.
En el caso 22-MM1061, el juzgado no va a tomar ninguna acción adicional.
Alciu Tavares?
This defendant also requires a Spanish interpreter, Judge.
Perfect. Sir, good afternoon. Could you state your name for the record for me?
Muy buenas tardes, caballeros. Si me puede decir su nombre para que conste en actas, despacio, en voz alta, por favor.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. Repita su nombre, por favor.
Alceu Tavares.
No le entiendo su nombre. ¿Tavares qué?
Alceu Tavares.
Alceo Tavares.
Sí. Alceu Tavares.
Alceo Tavares.
All right, Mr. Tavares, we're here on a uniform charging affidavit for a sole charge of the offer to commit lewdness.
El señor Tavares, nos encontramos aquí por un affidavit de documento declaratorio por un cargo de agresión a cometer un acto lascivo.
Court's going to find that there is probable cause for that charge.
El tribunal va a determinar que existe motivo fundado para ese cargo.
Court's going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
El juzgado va a designar las oficinas del defensor público para que los representen.
You'll be given a bond of $500.
Se le va a programar una fianza de $500.
And the court is not going to take any action on case number 22CF883.
El tribunal no va a tomar acciones adicionales en el caso 22CF883.
All right, thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Lastly, Gerard Wesley. Well, actually, Madam Public Defender, is there anyone else there who needs the services of an interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be on standby for BRC.
Very good, thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Oh, he goes on by himself. Okay, great. All right, lastly, we have Jason Wesley.
Your Honor, state just needs one moment to find.
Sure, no worries. Leave another copy.
Yeah.
Mr. Schmidt, we have an extra copy up here if you need to approach for it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He actually in the Orange County staff. So we can go get him because he over there.
Cheers.
Counsel, just take a look over that and just look up at me when you're ready to go. Mr. Wesley will be with you in just a moment, sir, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
It's ready, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wesley, if you could please state your name for the record, please.
Jason Wesley Jr.
All right, sir, we're here on case number 22CF5289. There was a warrant, sir, issued for your arrest for 2 charges. Charge 1, robbery.
I'm so sorry, if we can waive the reading.
Yes, ma'am, we will. Sir, there were 2 charges. The court will not identify those charges based on the request of Madam Public Defender. Court is going to find that there is probable cause for both those charges by virtue of the issuance of the warrant. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. You'll be given a bond as to count 1 of $10,000, count 2, $2,000. You're to have no contact with the victim in this case, and you're not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Yes, sir.
With the victim. And sir, you're not to have any contact with any of the witnesses in this case as well. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Madam Public Defender, is there anyone else there who hasn't had the opportunity to hear from the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, you too.